While I was doing this room, I did actually kind of wish I had my first pet stuff installed.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Hello there and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to my channel. Either way, I'm super excited to have you here. So in this video, I wanted to do a build, obviously, in The Sims 4, again, hopefully evident based on the title and thumbnail, but I just wanted to give this world a shot because Brindleton Bay is probably my favorite world in The Sims 4, and Cats and Dogs is one of my favorite packs, so I figured it would be a good kind of fun video to do if I built on the bigger lot in Brindleton Bay. Now, the thing about me is I love small houses, especially in The Sims. They're easier to build, they're faster to build, they're easy to furnish because they don't look as empty. So a lot this big, and it's not even that big, that's what she said. A lot this size was kind of difficult for me, but I wanted to give it a shot because I think it's so pretty. As we're kind of going through here, you'll see the driveway that's at the front of this house, and it's gorgeous. I really, really like this lot, and I haven't ever built on it before, or well, anything good. I have started many a legacy challenge on this empty lot, but it looks super weird with the random legacy shack with the wall with the toilet, and that's all you have. So I wanted to build a proper manor, as I end up calling this house for this lot. It's the Brindleton family manor because it is built with a kind of style for this world in mind. It's very much that kind of Dutch colonial, cats and dogs, almost Cape Cod-ish vibe that I went for, and you'll see the roofing. The roofing for this style, especially in this game, is very tricky because if you have a room kind of inside the roof the way the second floor is, if you don't place the roofing just right, it cuts through the walls. I think I cut out most of me struggling with that, but it was a struggle, that's for sure. You can see we're going on the shell right now. I did the first floor as medium wall height, which is out of my comfort zone for sure. I think that I would like it more if they gave us more windows, but the problem is that the problem is the windows in The Sims 4, and that's the T. No, the problem is that they really only gave us short wall height windows for this pack. There's one. You can see it now. It's that kind of half arch with the crossbar fencing at the bottom of it, but it's completely open. And while I like that style, sometimes, you know, for jungle adventure or island living, it makes a lot of sense. I didn't really want a completely open archway for the exterior of my house because it actually does snow a lot in this world, and in the summer it rains a lot if you have seasons. Speaking of seasons, it's good time to point out that this build uses only cats and dogs in the base game. I didn't use seasons, I didn't use anything else, I didn't even use any of the holiday pack items. I really like to try and build limited builds, I guess you would call it, although I don't really feel limited when I build like this because especially with expansion packs, there's so much there for you to use. And cats and dogs is one of my favorites, like I said. So it wasn't really a challenge. Obviously, you have that inevitable where you're building, like, oh, I want this plant. Oh, it doesn't come. I can't use it. But in order to avoid that, I uninstalled everything except for cats and dogs. I usually do that when I'm doing limited pack builds just to make sure nothing slips in there. So it's just cats and dogs and the base game. And you can see here I kind of jumped forward. This build took me too long for what it is. So a lot of the video sections are kind of skipped. You'll see I do one bathroom and then I don't show you the rest because they're all the same. All my bathrooms are the same. You know, they just vary a little bit based on the size, but it's the same toilet, the same decorations and everything like that. And the same goes for the landscaping. I showed you kind of the end of that one flower bed to the left, and we're going to do one more. And then the rest of the flower beds look like that. I used the same items, just kind of made them fit however I thought looked nice. Of course, for a house this big, I had to rock-lined driveway in the house, although it's not in the house, and also it's not a driveway because we don't have cars at EA. I added EA so many times in my last build, and it wasn't even very long, so I guess that's just part of my brand now. And so is rock-lined driveways, although, you know, 1 for 2 isn't that bad. It's not something I do normally, but again, for this kind of size and expense of house, it seemed prudent. This house is too expensive. I think it ended up being like 240K or something. 250, definitely too much. I mean, it is 5 bedrooms and 4.5 bathrooms, and it's very spacious. It's not cramped. You could easily fit another bedroom or two in here if you change some rooms. There's an office. The landing for upstairs is huge. There's a TV room that could be converted into a bedroom really easily. Yeah, there's a TV room. It's because the living room downstairs doesn't have a TV in it because it has that really fancy cats and dogs fireplace with the mirror that you'll see in a minute. So I added a separate TV room because I thought with a house this big, you have to have a TV, but it didn't fit my vibe. The aesthetic wasn't there, so we had to move her. The main reason I did the medium wall height for the ground floor is because I wanted to use the one door, or actually two doors, that cats and dogs came with that are the medium wall height that are both beautiful. I only used the one, but they're gorgeous. And also the arches. So I really never used those items because, again, medium wall height. So I really wanted to build something where I could use them. That's what this is. You can see right there, I just had more roof trim struggles because it never ends, evidently. Roof clipping and the trim and all of that was kind of a struggle with this build. I did cut most of it out, but it took me way too long to figure it out correctly. You can see here now I'm working on the floor plan. This floor plan is a little weird, I think especially upstairs. The existence of the TV room, although kind of necessary in the sense that it gives your Sims a TV, which is a useful object to have, kind of made the floor plan weird. At first I wanted it to be like a big movie room without windows or anything, but I don't want to add a basement. The struggle with this house is that I had too much space and not enough stuff to put in it, so I don't want to be adding any more space. That's the struggle with these big builds, is that your Sims only need so much. You know, a big kitchen is nice, but at a certain point there's no benefit to it in the Sims, whereas in real life, like the bigger the kitchen, the better, you know. But in the Sims, as long as they have, you know, enough prep space and it looks cute, you don't really need a big kitchen and other stuff like that. So I kind of struggled with the floor plan and making this build look full. In the end, it's not quite as full or cluttered as I would normally prefer, but I thought that there was a kind of richness about empty space. Is that just a cop out? We don't know, probably. No, but I think that the luxury of having too much space and not enough stuff instead of the other way around is kind of cool. Obviously, these people could afford more stuff, but they like having a big kind of empty hallway. It's part of their vibe. That's what I'm going with. I don't think it looks too empty though. It just has a lot of rooms that you would normally have. You just saw there in the between the kitchen and the dining room, there's a piano room, which isn't that crazy. We had a piano room growing up, although it wasn't a giant grand piano. It was just like a not fancy upright piano. And it was also in the entryway, so it kind of was a double purpose. But that this house has a piano room between the kitchen and the dining room, and the office is giant, way too big for an office, and so is this bathroom. Right now we're working on what ends up being one of the two master suites that this place has. And the bathroom for this master suite is actually bigger than one of the bedrooms upstairs because rich people be like that. The rich have no taste and they don't care about their kids or other people, and that's the tea. Nothing against rich people, obviously, although kind of eat the rich. So you can see here we've jumped ahead a little bit. I'm furnishing that TV room. I ended up using these cute little love seats that got added to the base game. They don't have a matching couch, of course, because we can't have nice things at EA. But there's no matching couch. You can see there, I just gave myself 50,000 more simoleons as if that was going to be enough. I think I started building with 100,000, then I gave myself 50, and then I ran out and I just gave myself 500,000 more because I was tired of having to cheat up my money. And I didn't obviously use that much, but this is one of the more expensive houses I've built and definitely the most expensive one on my gallery. I splashed out. I picked the expensive wallpaper. I never use this wallpaper because the two simoleon one looks really similar, different colors with kind of crown molding, but this one just looks fancier, or you know, it seems fancier because it costs more money. You can see right here, this roof clipping, we just saw it for a second, that's part of the problem. There was this one wall that was part of the roof and it just wouldn't go away. I tried everything to cover and I finally did fix it. So in the final build, there is the wallpaper on that little section that matches the rest of the house, but it took me forever to figure out how to make it work. We're actually furnishing the TV room. I don't know what that was before, I guess just a sneak preview. But this is the actual furnishing of the TV room. You can see me picking stuff out there. And now we're in that little landing, one of the two landings. There's a lot of hall in this house, like I said. So there's where the staircase lets out, and this is the first landing. And there's an archway into that other TV room. I eventually end up putting another wall in this room, kind of right next to that chair upstairs. So there ends up being kind of 3 hallway spaces if you count the TV room as a hallway, which I kind of do because it has an archway and doors into 2 bedrooms in it. So while it does have a TV in it, it also serves the purpose of a hallway. And I really struggled to furnish these because what furniture do you put in a hallway? And this is a big, big hallway. I didn't know what to do. So it was just like entry table with the plant and a mirror and another bookcase and the same grandma chair that I used everywhere. So the style for this house, at first I wanted grandma, and then I was like, I already did a grandma build. I need to expand my horizon. So I ended up kind of having some grandma-ish items. In my head, this house has been in the family for generations, and so some of the stuff is grandma's and it's antique, like the little chair and ottoman set that we just saw in the hall that I use everywhere, and her taste in rugs, stuff like that. As you can see here, I'm doing one of the bathrooms now, and all of the bathrooms, stuff like that. So once you've seen one, you've seen them all. And then some of it is a little bit more contemporary. I definitely wanted it to feel like a family house still. It's a big house, obviously, but I wanted it to not be too fancy. Again, it is very fancy. But you can tell that if family still lives here, they just also be having a lot of money, a wealthy family, which is, kind of rare. But here we are. They exist, and this is their house. So you can see now I'm dividing that hallway into two hallways because the smaller a room is, the easier it is to furnish. I learned that from Little Simsy, and it's the truth. But seriously, these bigger rooms are obviously much harder to furnish because there's so much more space. And again, having a bigger room is really nice in real life, but to a certain point in The Sims, it's like, I don't need this much hallway. I don't, the Sims are not going to use this end table or this mirror probably because that vase blocks it. So there's no point. The dining room, I love in this house. It's got a bunch of big windows, and I really like the dining table that came with this pack. Definitely wanted to use it for sure. It's an 8-seater table, so I don't use it that much because it's so long. Seater tables are hard to fit, especially in the kind of smaller, more family suburban houses that I like to build. So I definitely wanted to make sure I used it in here. It's maybe a little bit more rustic than the rest of the house, but I tried to kind of keep those vibes with the wicker rugs and everything like that. If I had laundry day installed, I would have done a lot more rustic touches. This would be a little bit more of a Chip and Joanna Gaines kind of vibe, but unfortunately the base game didn't really have what I was looking for in terms of rustic things. Speaking of laundry day stuff, upstairs, in addition to the bathrooms and the bedrooms and the landings and everything like that, there is a little extra room in the hallway that has the same tile as all of the bathrooms, and it's kind of furnished like a bathroom, except it just has two random counters in there. I did put stuff on them, so hopefully your Sims won't use them to cook. But I figured if you had laundry day installed, you would definitely swap that out and make it an actual laundry room because that's what the functionality of it is for. I almost included laundry day in this build, but I really wanted it to just be the one pack. I figure a lot of people probably have cats and dogs, but not everybody has laundry day. Although if you don't, it's a good pack. Would recommend top 3 stuff packs: Tiny Living, Nifty Knitting, Laundry Day. So if you don't have it and you're looking for a stuff pack, that's my recommendation. I'm actually thinking about making a series of recommending packs videos for game packs, stuff packs, and expansion packs. I figured that could be fun to do, especially when my channel is still kind of new, to kind of share my opinions and what I think about the packs. And that way, if you guys want any recommendations from someone you don't really know, aka me, I can hook it up for you. No, but I think that it's always really interesting to hear what people think about a specific pack. I feel like it tells you a lot about their build style and everything like that. What items they use, what kind of builds they like, if they're a builder or not. You see, I just keep talking about builds because I love building in The Sims 4. I wouldn't say I'm super great at it. There are so many people in this community that are crazy talented with their awesome, lots of use of debug and these big mansions, and they're super creative, and I think it's so cool, and I definitely want to try and hone that skill. But I think that I'm decent at building kind of the average, everyday, know, Sims build. So that's what we went for here. Just kind of, this is not average or everyday. It's one of the most expensive houses I've ever built. What do you mean? I just mean that it's not like a mansion or super, super cluttered or anything like that. I think that most PCs could handle for a lot this size this build. If you have a lot this size, this is a safer build than one of those big, crazy, thousands of items, everything like that. Nothing against those builds. They're all absolutely gorgeous. But I wanted to make something that was a little bit more attainable and also something that I'm more likely to use in my game. I really like building a house when there's a story to it, when I can think of the Sims that would live there, or I know what their vibe is. And I know I keep talking about legacies, but it's because I love playing legacy kind of style, although I've never gotten very far. I like the concept of having like an 8-generation legacy. They've been living in the same grandma's farmhouse for 50 years and, just really embracing that storyline, but I never get there. But this house kind of suits that. I think I could see, buying like just the shell and slowly furnishing it. And, it has a bunch of rooms, so eventually it would be perfect. So let's talk about the rooms. There are 2 master suites, one downstairs and one upstairs. I figured the one downstairs would be for like the parents, or if the grandparents or uncle or whoever still lived here, that would be a nice place for them because it's kind of separate from the rest of the bedrooms and the rest of the house. This bathroom, this master bathroom down here is the biggest bathroom though, so maybe you want to keep that for whoever you like the most. But upstairs there is the master suite, and then I think there's two rooms with single beds. One looks more kid. And there's a toddler room, and there's what I would call a teen room that's upstairs. That's the other master suite. Again, you could easily use that for parents, but I did kind of add a little bit more teen decor. I tried to keep it pretty neutral for the decor in this house. I thought that whoever owns this house would try and enforce that the kids pick stuff that's goes with the vibe of the whole house. Although I say that one of the kids' rooms upstairs will get there when we get there, but it is something else. It does not match the vibe. I really popped off. I really said all pink, just all pink, straight pink. I want a pink room. That's what we did. Child me is very jealous of that pink room. So you can see here, I keep popping into live mode to change the color of the lights because, as most of you are probably aware, you can't change the light intensity from build mode if you at all, period. If you don't have a sim there, then you can't do it if you enter build mode from Manage World. So I have a sim here, which is why I kept running out of money, but I wanted to be able to change the lights because the lights that I use basically everywhere is kind of the default light in this house are a little bit more yellowy tone than I would prefer. So I wanted to go in and change them. You can see here we're working on the kind of teen build that I was talking about. For some reason I didn't record the actual furnishing of it, but you saw just a little bit of it there with the bed and the color scheme and stuff. And at the end of this video, I do have the same kind of video plus screenshots combined tour of it so you can kind of see everything. Did videos wherever possible, but sometimes it's hard to get the right angle for videos without clipping through walls and stuff. I need to up my in-game video recording, so there are some screenshots mingled in as well. But I wanted to make sure that you could see it all, especially because in this video I did kind of cut a lot of it out because I think I had at least 4 hours of footage that I wanted to whittle down to a reasonable-ish amount. This video is still pretty long, but I definitely didn't want it to be, longer than like 30 minutes because it is a big house, but at the end of the day, it's not impressive enough to be that long of a video. Do you know what I mean? It's not that detailed. Not to rag on my own build. I think she's cute. I like her, but I don't know if it's that worthy. So you can see we're doing this toddler room. I love this toddler room so much. These wicker rugs that came with cats and dogs are some of my favorites. I use them all over in this house. You can see it's literally in the TV room. You can see them both in the same shot. Why am I like this? I just really think those rugs are so cute though. So I wanted to use them as much as possible. Look, there's another one in the landing. Whew. I also use that one plant that's in the landing a lot because it's so big with the leaves and stuff. It takes up a lot of space. You can see we are on to the pink room. I picked this wallpaper because I had to, and I have no regrets. It's beautiful. While I was doing this room, I did actually kind of wish I had My First Pet stuff installed. I know, blasphemy, let me explain. Just because it goes with this pack. Clearly, the desk that comes with My First Pet stuff matches exactly this bed, nightstand, and dresser combo. It's the exact same design, and so is the bookcase. You can tell. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that. I might make a whole video about that or talk about it in my ranking stuff packs video that I'm going to do, but you can tell it was supposed to be here, and it wasn't. And I try not to use My First Pet stuff because I imagine most people don't have it because why? I have it, but why? I don't know. I got it on sale, and if you have cats and dogs and it's on sale, it's not that bad of a pack. It does come with a bunch of items, it's just the principle of the thing. But I imagine a lot of people don't have it, and also this was obviously a limited packs build, and if I was going to add any stuff pack, it wouldn't have been My First Pet stuff, it would have been Laundry Day. So you can see here, this is the other single bedroom, and I definitely embraced the style of the house again in this one, in the toddler room and the teen room. The one pink kids room is the only one that's a little bit off, just with the bright flowers. I figure maybe there's one kid who's absolutely spoiled and they just get everything that they want, and so their room just ruins the vibe. But you can see here, we're working, we're building. I kind of jump back and forth between rooms a little bit because I'll find a decor item that I like and think, oh, I want this to be in this room too, like that backpack, how I just took it over into the other room. So I do kind of jump around a little bit when I'm building, and I have the grid on again. I'm so sorry. I have it on and off all throughout this video. I recorded this in a bunch of sitting down sessions, like all throughout one day, but I only ever had like an hour or two at a time, so it took me a while. I would record for like 20 minutes and then leave and then come back and the grid would be back on. And I had it on while I was doing all of the roofing stuff because it's really tricky to figure out the roofing and floor plan without the grid on. But I try and turn it off when I'm furnishing because I know people on YouTube don't like to watch videos with the grid on, but I'm sorry, the grid is on. She's here. I don't know if she's gonna go off, but we're just gonna have to deal with it. So you can see here, I'm just kind of furnishing again. Like I found that ottoman in the other room and I wanted it in this room, so we're kind of dragging everything around here. I did make a little fake vanity in the teen. I use air quotes, you can't see me, but I used them in the teen room over there that you'll see in the screenshots. I think I've got a good screenshot of it. I also made one in the bedroom downstairs. Again, if I had Vintage Glamour installed and was using it for this build, I would have used the real ones, but I wanted to create something like that. And I figured that's something you could pretty easily change out to be a functional vanity if you want, if you have Vintage Glamour. Although the function for those things is kind of silly as much as the actual vanities are cute. I wish you could use custom content makeup with them or create like specific set makeup looks that your sim can apply using the vanity tables or something. I find myself not using them that much because I don't want the makeup that EA generates for me. It's not what I want. It's not what I came here for. So you can see here, I've zoomed out so we can see the whole exterior of the build. I was just kind of checking it out, looking at my progress, seeing what I wanted to change and everything like that, adding little touches here and there outside. Again, in the screenshots and videos at the end of the build, you'll be able to see everything that I did a lot more. I do kind of jump around in this, and again, it's just because I wanted to cut it down because it was so long before, and not all of it is super interesting. No one needs to watch me struggle with roofs or floor plans for 40 minutes. That's before sped up. Thankfully, it didn't take that long once it was sped up because that would have been a nightmare. Then I couldn't call myself even good at this game. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. I'm not good at this. Don't watch me do floor plans. It's embarrassing. I sized these candles down. I don't know if you just saw, but it glitches out the flames like they're not in the right spot. So I just turned the candle off because I really like those candles, but they were too big for that table. So I just distinguished it. I was like, no, don't light the candle. It's just for show. So you can see here, I'm decorating this big old wraparound porch that we have. At first, I didn't want to have a wraparound porch. I was looking at a couple of different inspo pics just kind of loosely for inspiration, not like recreating exactly or anything. And none of them had big porches, but to make their roof work, this was the easiest solution, and I actually kind of like it. I think there's something about like big open expanses inside and outside that are an indicator of wealth. You can see here I'm messing with the floor tiles, so if you use Control F, you can actually get these diagonal triangle like half tiles for the flooring, and you can't really tell because I'm not zoomed in enough. Maybe I will in a second, but you can use it to change. It'll change the direction of the wood grain or like the tile if it's a specific direction. You can see here, so I changed it so that it lines up at the corner so it looks like it's continuously flowing. I really like the way that looks. I think it makes it look a lot better. So you can see we've just reached the end of the build. Please remember to subscribe if you'd like to and give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below and let's start a conversation. Have fun, stay positive, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.